Christy Lynn Donorovich O'Donnell has cancer. It's terminal cancer, and she's going to die a painful death. By her own admission, this is stuff that she says. She sued California for the right to die as a result of this. She didn't want to go through it. She didn't want her daughter to have to see her go through it. So she sued, and she said, I think I have the right to die. She just lost her case. So I want to show you her emotional plea after the loss.
What this fight is about is the difference between lawful palliative sedation that could take days or weeks versus aid in dying that could take a few minutes. For any judge or anyone, any law or legislator to tell me that my daughter has to watch me die painfully, that's wrong. And what makes me even sadder is that I stood in these courtrooms for over 10 years, believing in the justice system, that they would follow the law, and for 10 years as a police officer upholding those laws. I now have no choice but to continue fighting. I strongly believe in both Kevin Diaz and John from Malvady and Myers that they'll continue this fight. It's highly unlikely that I will still be alive to see an appellate court ruling. But like I said, my fight and Bailey's fight has never been about us. It's always been about others. So I would ask you to continue. Elizabeth and everyone else will continue fighting on long after I'm gone.
Yeah, it's really hard to watch that. And look, I have to be honest, I don't know the legal complexity here, so I don't know why or how the judge ruled the way he or she ruled. So leaving the court issue aside, I'll just say that what can happen is the legislature could step up and just pass a law, and that would solve everything, because she'd be able to go peacefully if she chooses, if they just pass the law. So you remember Brittany Maynard and what she went through, and she's gotten some movement on this issue, and she's a hero for that. But it's still stalled in the legislature right now in California. 2 Democratic state senators proposed what they call the End-of-Life Option Act, which allows doctors to prescribe a lethal dose of certain medications to terminally ill patients. And they say the act was recently amended but has yet to pass. So they're just fucking sitting on it and they're waiting. No, do it right now. Because there are real-life consequences to you dragging your feet. And all we're talking about here, guys, understand, it's just the right to control your own destiny. I can imagine there are a variety of diseases where if I had them and it was terminal and I was in pain, I wouldn't want to live anymore. I don't want to go peacefully with an overdose of morphine or some barbiturate or something like that, where I just go to sleep and I never wake up. I would like to control that. Isn't that a right? Isn't that actual liberty and personal freedom? Why would anybody stand in the way of that? And if you say, hey, I'm afraid it'll be abused, fine, then let's have regulations in place to limit the abuse as much as possible. But you definitely shouldn't be able to take away the right of somebody to control their own destiny. How can you look at somebody like this and tell her, no, I want you to be in pain, and I want your daughter to see you in pain, and I want you to go in a way that you don't want to go, instead of allowing you to put yourself out of your own misery? It doesn't make you more virtuous or more moral or more just to stand up and tell her that. It makes you less virtuous and less moral and less just. It makes you a worse person if you say that to her.